which gives us a chance to look ahead to our forecasting update right now. Which, yeah, this has changed a lot in 2.5 weeks. Bernie Sanders falling behind no majority and
It's
Joe
only
Biden.
been 2.5 weeks. It's
I said that to somebody yesterday. South Carolina was 15 days ago. Now it's 16 days ago. And Joe
Jeez.
Biden was political roadkill at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I was shorting Joe Biden in all the Super Tuesday states.
Oops.
I don't know. As long as you get out before it happens, gotta play the volatility. That's probably a bad joke to make today. Um, yeah, 89% Biden. I don't think I think we all think this is pretty accurate, right?
Uh, I think it might be a little low, to be honest. If I was going to have one sort of feel on against the data, I would say that's pretty low. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I think also, I mean, if you had said 3 weeks ago that the top two candidates on March 16th were going to be Joe Biden or no majority, I don't think anybody necessarily would have believed you. But this is pretty fascinating. Sanders only at 2% for getting the majority. And I'm sorry, if we're going into a contested convention, I don't see Bernie Sanders as being the candidate that all of the virtual delegates rally behind. So I think tomorrow maybe it'll be even more formally over if all four states go in Biden's direction. But we could also start to look at some of these estimated vote shares. For example, in Florida, what we're expecting is Biden to come out with 64% of the vote. Let's say hypothetically, is it just a matter of if Biden wins all four tomorrow, we think it's pretty much over? Like, does Sanders need to actually win, or if he runs it close in say two of the states, are we in this for a little bit of a longer haul?
not in practical terms, maybe in
Yeah.
Sanders' mind and that of his supporters. But I mean, seriously, we're well past the strong second place point. He has to win. I think Alex Aldunson had calculated something like 54% of the remaining delegates. These are two really big delegate states tomorrow that we're going to see. And so winning a healthy minority share of those delegates does Bernie Sanders nothing. It just doesn't. And I think the only question left is, does Sanders, formally suspend his campaign and concede the nomination? He didn't do it in 2016, where it's a very similar environment right now to what he has now that we've got him heads up again. He has a lead. He's trailing a candidate with a lead that he really can't overcome, but maybe he can drag down to prevent from getting the majority of delegates, and then nothing happens. So the question be, will he really run this out as he did against Hillary Clinton? Might be an interesting dynamic that if he concedes to Joe Biden but didn't to Hillary Clinton, he might come in for some criticism. But on the other hand, it's a different time. We're in emergency situations. We're also, the reality of Bernie Sanders has a different relationship. Apparently, he and Joe Biden actually are friends and have a longer term standing relationship. So he may not want to drag it out. But I kind of think that's the question that we're going to be faced with on Wednesday is where does Bernie go? And especially in these times where what do you do to change something, right? Probably not going to be any more debates. You can't go campaign in any sort of traditional sense. So what's going to change here? And you have to then win 65% of the remaining delegates. The math and the realities just are going to be stark probably come Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot more left to say about this. I mean, I guess I don't know if anyone addressed it yet, but obviously Bernie doesn't have a chance, but doesn't mean he can't stick around to the convention. What do we think that the chance of that is?
I mean, I was on the record last week saying I thought it was a pretty low chance that he would stick around through the convention. And I think my argument there is mostly that I think he already played the card in 2016 that he's going to try and inch the party leftward in terms of getting particular policies within the platform, trying to influence nomination rules in the future contests and that sort of thing. So I just don't know how much political capital he has within the DNC structure to to reap anything useful out of staying in the contest until the convention. But maybe you two have different thoughts on that.
I also think when a candidate gets out, they want to get out on a high note. As we saw after South Carolina, the rationale was, hey, we need to rally around. This needs to become Joe Biden's time. So everybody that quit got a sort of a pat on the back after Super Tuesday, or the ones before, right around then. It's like, okay, great, thanks, you ran a race, good job, you did the right thing at the right time. I think Sanders would have that opportunity now, and he could say, listen, I dragged it out to 2016. As you point out, Podcool, I got a lot of these concessions in terms of what happened, and now we're in an emergency situation. Donald Trump's terrible, blah blah blah. So we need to rally around and accept, that Joe Biden's the nominee, and he'll get a moment. If he drags it out until the convention, he doesn't get anything. He doesn't get a speaking slot. He doesn't get anything. Now he gets a moment. He gets a pat on the back. He gets to, to say, hey, you did a good job, and you're one of us, and it's all nice.